From the moment you first set foot in the Columbus Zoo, you know you're someplace different. True, most modern zoos, including this one, are replacing cages with more spacious open enclosures. But here, some of the animals aren't even in enclosures.
Whoa! Oh, wow!
It's not uncommon to walk in and find yourself face to face with a toad. Arm in arm with a Madagascar cockroach.
Oh, nice.
Or ear to ear with an elephant.
The Columbus Zoo is a special place because it's a place for people. Obviously, we have animals here, but the animals are entertaining in a way in that people can kind of sometimes learn something about themselves. I've always had a philosophy that Walt Disney said back in the 50s. I'd rather entertain and hope people learn than to teach and hope people are entertained.
Jack Hanna's philosophy has made this one of the most unusual zoos in the world. Everybody here seems to enjoy the entertainment, including the animals. Even the zoo's first residents were in show business. 6 reindeer left over from a Christmas pageant held in 1926 by the Columbus Dispatch, a local newspaper. The paper's publisher, H.P. Wolfe, decided that Columbus should have a real zoo, and he began acquiring animals for it. Over the years, the place evolved into what probably would have been a quiet little zoo, until December 22nd, 1956, when a miraculous event put Columbus squarely on the world's zoological map, the birth of Kolo, the first gorilla ever born in captivity. Kolo became the grande dame of Columbus gorillas, a grandmother no fewer than 13 times. Her offspring have carried on the tradition she began. Their success at breeding has kept the population growing steadily. Even with so many gorillas to see, regular visitors like to think they're all on a first-name basis.
That was Kolo, and Bridget is up there. She's a daughter or a granddaughter, I don't know her name.
It isn't easy keeping all the gorillas' names straight. Even these guys get confused.
We have the 3rd largest collection of gorillas in the United States here at our zoo. We have Sunshine, who's amazing. He stands over 6 foot 8 inches tall. And Oscar, who's probably one of the most successfully reproducing males in captivity, as well as with the twins, the only twin gorillas in the world. And Bongo is the oldest reproducing male in captivity. At age 30, he produced 1 offspring.
That offspring, baby Fossey, made history of a different sort by becoming the first Columbus gorilla to be raised by its own mother.
We had tried for numerous years to have a mother raise an offspring, but for one reason or another, we found that we had to raise the infant in the nursery.
This time, though, things clicked between mother and infant. Then keepers held their breath to see how 416-pound Bongo, a big daddy in anybody's book, would do handling a baby for the very first time in his life.
Bongo, who had never seen an infant, was perfect. He just fell right into the line, and we just couldn't ask for a more successful group.
Like any proper patriarch, Bongo enjoys his afternoon tea, one of the special herbal blends developed here at the Columbus Zoo just for the gorillas. Keepers feel these teas have many benefits, from reducing stress to increasing mother's milk production. They're actually part of a larger animal health plan that includes comprehensive veterinary care and learning just what makes each animal happy. For some, it's a squirt of good old-fashioned hose water. But there's one thing they all go ape over.
It's goodie time. Coconuts. Are you ready? You ready? Let's get it. Hurry up before Sylvia gets it. Here you go.
Visitors crack up watching Oscar crack open his coconuts by pitching them against the wall. Activities like these are part of an overall effort at the Columbus Zoo to please both animals and people.
Rather than having people come and seeing animals sleeping in the corner, we like them to see the animal doing something so that they can appreciate their size, their strength, and most of all, their intelligence.
There are plenty of reasons we respond so strongly to these creatures, and our feelings are amplified with each new addition to the family.
This is JJ, my namesake. Born on my 40th birthday. Little Jungle Jack, really. And he's one of the most popular little babies here at the Columbus Zoo. And now is a member of our famous gorilla collection. Oh, I know, I love you too. As a matter of fact, baby animals are one reason why a lot of people come to the Columbus Zoo.
And they're not disappointed. In an average year, nearly 500 babies open their eyes for the first time at the Columbus Zoo. There are so many baby animals here that you get the feeling they're coming out of the woodwork. Well, they are. This particular woodwork is an incubator, and these large eggs contain rheas, which are South American versions of the ostrich. Often, keepers have to help the egg hatching process along. The fact that this chick is doing the job by itself is a good sign that it will be healthy. Of course, getting out is one thing. Getting up is another.
This chick has just hatched. He's going in with his buddy here that hatched this morning. You can see the difference in this one it hatched about 5 hours ago, and it's pretty steady on its feet. And this little guy, you'll be a little unsteady for a while.
Within a quick 5 months, these chicks will reach their full-grown height of 5 feet. The babies hatching from these eggs in the reptile building will also grow to 5 feet. Not 5 feet tall, 5 feet long. These are Malaysian spitting cobras. They're able from birth to spit a venom that can cause blindness. An average clutch of these slithering serpents contains 15 to 18 eggs.
In the reptile department at Columbus Zoo, in the last 10 years, we've hatched over 2,000 animals. Now, I might say in terms of numbers, we have the largest reptile collection in the United States.
The arthropod department may be one of the only places in the world where baby scorpions are a welcome sight. To people, they may not be the friendliest of creatures, but they are certainly loved by their mother. She carries her litter of up to 30 babies on her back, along with any orphans she may encounter.
If something would happen to the mother of another scorpion, they will take the others. If for some reason the babies are brushed off their back, she will go around and get them back up on her back.
As much as possible, zoo babies are left in the care of their own mothers. But sometimes the mothers don't do their jobs or other problems arise. It's then that the babies are hand-raised in the nursery, located appropriately in the children's zoo. Here, youngsters of all ages can get a close look at their animal counterparts, such as these young tigers. Keepers brought Ivory, the white tiger, here to take care of some leg problems, which have now been solved. They decided to hand-raise the other 2 babies as well, so that Ivory could grow up in contact with other tigers. Even when they're being mother-raised, many of the zoo's babies need constant monitoring to make sure mom is doing her job.
These are Chinese red pandas. They're a distant relative of the giant panda. We're the second zoo in the United States to have bred this particular type of panda. This one's about a month old. When they're born, they're blind, their ears are closed, they're all gray, and they develop the adult panda look at about, well, they start at about 2 weeks, and then by the time they're 3 months old, it'll look just like an adult red panda, only much smaller.
If the mother can't provide enough milk, babies can face starvation. By weighing them every day, keepers can detect a problem immediately and begin supplemental feedings. The nursery staff has won the trust of the mother panda. This enables them to perform their monitoring activities and still leave the babies under mom's care. A similar strategy has worked spectacularly well with the zoo's cheetahs. Out of 58 cheetahs born here, a record for captive births, only 7 had to be hand-raised. Overall, Columbus has the largest cheetah collection in the world, due in part to a breeding program that produced 15 litters in just 8 years. With such a large population, the cheetahs occupy 5 different yards, 3 of which are private breeding grounds. The 2 public viewing areas are each nearly an acre in size, giving these sleek speedsters plenty of running room. The public can get remarkably close to these cats thanks to a special overlook that extends 100 feet into one of the yards. It's just one example of the creative approach being taken here to design enclosures that provide maximum benefits to residents and visitors alike. At the herbivore-carnivore complex, there's an overlook of a different sort.
We're exhibiting animals in a zoogeographic method in which we have animals from South America, Asia, and different parts of Africa. And as well, we try to put across the predator-prey concept. So we would have jaguars over our South American hoofstock. Over our Asian hoofstock, we would have our Bengal tigers, and over our African yards, we would have the African lion. And then the third thing that we try and accomplish is a mixed species exhibit, a typical water hole type scene that you might see in Africa or Asia or South America. For example, in this yard, we have our reticulated giraffes, topi antelope, Grevy zebra, and the common zebra. So 4 species of animals integrated in one particular exhibit. We feel this gives the visitor much more of an idea of a wild type situation rather than have just single animals in individual yards.
Everywhere you look, barriers have been reduced to a minimum between visitors and animals, and even between the animals themselves. But don't be alarmed. As close as they may look to one another, the predators cannot reach their prey. And as close as they may look to you, they can't reach you either. Even small enclosures get a large amount of attention at the Columbus Zoo. This keeper leaves no stone unturned in his rush to prepare an aquarium tank for part of the zoo's impressive collection of African cichlids. Do the cichlids appreciate the effort? Nobody knows, but we do know that cichlids are some of the world's smartest fish. Unlike most others, they form mating partnerships and actually care for their young. Back outside, there is a lot remaining to meet the eye, and not all of it has to do with animals. After all, this is the Columbus Zoological Gardens. There are actually more plants here than animals. Each year, the zoo grows 100,000 annuals, not to mention the 20,000 tulips that pop up every spring. When they're not busy beautifying the grounds, the zoo's horticulturalists are growing some of the vegetables the gorillas eat, and they're experimenting with different strains of bamboo to feed the lesser pandas. The lesser panda has to have bamboo in its diet. Most of the other animals throughout the zoo don't have to be so choosy. With such a diverse animal population, Columbus Zoo is faced with a challenge, not only to figure out what to feed the animals, but also to decide how much. And in the world of beasts, size can be deceiving. Consider, for example, the daily intake of a 4-inch-long insect and a massive rhinoceros.
If you think Clyde the rhino eats a lot, you wouldn't believe it, but this Australian walking stick right here has to eat his weight in vegetation every single day. Now, if Clyde had to do that, he'd have to eat 10 times this height of shrubs just to stay full. And that's about a tractor-trailer load full.
Some animals could make quite a dent in that tractor-trailer load. In the wild, elephants can eat up to 600 pounds of vegetation a day. In a zoo, they don't need to walk great distances searching for food, so they don't eat nearly as much. Here, the keepers put them through a carefully planned series of routines that give the elephants more than just exercise.
Bell, salute. Salute. Steady. Having elephants trained and being able to work with them on a daily basis also eliminates the need to anesthetize these animals to do very routine basic procedures, such as working on their feet or giving them medication or possibly having to draw blood. Take a bow. Good girl. Thank you, Belle. Thank you, Belle. Good girl.
Bomb a foot. That's my lady.
In keeping with the zoo's philosophy of interaction with visitors, many things that would be done behind the scenes in other zoos, such as this elephant foot exam, are done here in front of the public.
Toenails may also develop soft spots, which have to be reduced and removed.
If you want to know how this feels to the elephant, just think of having your own fingernails clipped. In the wild, any irregularities in the foot pads would be smoothed out by normal wear. But in captivity, even a small puncture can turn into a serious infection without this kind of frequent care. With such a close working relationship, it's no surprise that some strong bonds develop between the keepers and the elephants.
I'm blowing into her trunk as a contact. Elephants blow into each other's mouths. I do the same thing. I'm also putting my hand in her mouth as a contact and gesture of friendliness, if you will. Elephants place their trunks in each other's mouths. We try to act like two-legged elephants as much as possible.
The two-legged elephants like to give their four-legged friends treats from time to time. This time, it's that elephant-sized fruit, the watermelon. And the elephants find them simply smashing. Scooping up watermelons is a piece of cake. In fact, an elephant's trunk can pick up anything from a single grain of rice to a 1,000-pound log. And its trunk is only one of this species' remarkable assets.
I personally feel that elephants are probably one of the most intelligent animals in the world. In order sometimes to teach people about elephants, we actually bring Belle, our baby elephant, African elephant, out in the public to let kids touch an elephant or touch its foot to see that the bottom of the elephant's foot is real soft. Look how soft that is. See, touch his ear. Come here, look here. Touch his ear.
Dad, oh!
She ain't gonna hurt you. She just wants to smell.
When a kid or a youngster, even an adult, even when I can touch an elephant, it's just a big thrill every time I can do it. I've done it hundreds of times. And you can imagine a youngster like this being able to touch the largest land mammal in the world. It's tremendous.
The whole idea at the Columbus Zoo is to get people as close as possible to the animals.
Oh, you love him, don't you, Adam?
In addition to seeing them, you can touch them, you can ride them, you can even act like them. Here at Paw Prints Park in the Children's Zoo, families can see how they stack up against other members of the animal world.
We're bigger than a male gorilla.
All right.
It's all part of the zoo's theme of education through entertainment. Nowhere is that theme more evident than in the education department, where creativity is still the keynote, even when important lessons are being taught about wildlife conservation. Today, teachers are turning to the theater to make important points about products that exploit endangered animals.
Don't you think they could find other things to make bracelets like that?
Well, I guess so.
Children will forever be impressed with the size of a gorilla after 5 of them can't even fill this outfit designed to fit a gorilla's dimensions. These young people are all part of a program called Summer Experience. For 5 days, they are exposed to every inch of the zoo. They come away with a deeper appreciation of wildlife, and they collect some of the most unusual facts and figures. Like, for example, what the gorillas eat.
They eat apples, a head of lettuce, grapefruit, 2 onions, 2 oranges, 2 carrots, 1 more onion, and I think that's all.
Even the administrative staff at the zoo feels the call of the wild. Patty Cups, whose normal job is office manager, takes time out at the Timberwolf exhibit to share some real inside information.
The reason I'm in here, first of all, is because I helped hand-raise these animals. This guy's name here is Yukon. It helps us to manage these animals better if they can be handled.
Bringing the youngsters into a setting like this enables the staff to dispel some common fears and misconceptions.
Would they ever eat people?
They probably wouldn't eat people. The first reaction they have of people is to be afraid of them.
When it comes to being afraid of things, people's fear of creatures like these is near the top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the support the zoo receives from the surrounding community is reflected here in the arthropod building. This remarkable exhibit is the result of a collaboration between the zoo and local school teacher Frank Bolin.
And I've been able to integrate a lot of the things that the zoo does with my high school biology classes. And it's been a unique experience for my students with me being associated with the zoo, because in the winter months, many of these things are maintained by my students as a kind of a ongoing type of experience with zoo animals.
Arthropods include insects, spiders, scorpions, millipedes, and crustaceans. Columbus is fortunate to have some rare specimens here, such as the giant Malaysian walking stick and the only coconut crab on display in the U.S.
They get much larger than this. This is literally a baby. And they're unique in the fact that they climb coconut trees, cut the coconuts down from the palms, go back down to the ground, and use these large, massive claws to cut the hull off of the coconut.
The most renowned resident of this building is the Madagascar cockroach, a harmless but intimidating creature.
No! Is that gonna hurt you? Is that neat? Okay, you don't like him?
I don't like him.
You gonna cry? You gonna cry?
No.
Okay, then we'll go.
Jack Hanna has adopted the cockroach as his trademark. The cockroach, in turn, has become a symbol for one of the zoo's ongoing commitments.
Go ahead, Patty. He's not gonna hurt you, sweetie.
To take the wonders of the animal world wherever there are people to appreciate them.
Let's put Robin up on the table so you can see her.
Columbus Zoo employs a number of people who do nothing but transport animals outside the zoo grounds, where people who need special attention can share in the touching experience. Jenny Pettit is introducing these disabled teens to Robin the caracal, a small African cat.
There you go. It's fine. Robin's not going to bite you. How many chinchillas do you think it takes to make a coat?
Don't know.
Quite a few, huh?
Hi, baby. Can you stay for a visit?
Sure. Okay.
We'll make friends.
What a way to start off your weekend, folks, with a visit by television to the Columbus.
The zoo's animal outreach even extends to the airwaves. Furred and feathered guests are a common sight on television sets in the Columbus area, and even nationally. Regular appearances on shows like Good Morning America and Late Night with David Letterman have enabled Jack Hanna to bring the Columbus Zoo's message into living rooms across the country. The zoo's efforts on behalf of wildlife conservation actually reach around the globe. Keepers from Columbus are involved in an effort to save one of the most endangered animals in the world, Africa's black rhino. In the last 15 years, their numbers have decreased from more than 100,000 to fewer than 3,000. They have been slaughtered primarily for their horns, which are carved into decorative dagger handles. Some Columbus staff members have made the trip to Kenya to work at the privately run Nigare Sergoi Rhino Sanctuary. They've come back determined to help raise money to keep the sanctuary going. Local businesses helped spread the word even further by producing an hour-long TV documentary. The result has been a flow of contributions from the citizens of Columbus, Ohio, to a small outpost in the wilds of Africa, where the fight to preserve one of the world's rare species is being waged. The Columbus Zoo is fighting for the survival of other African species right in its own zoological backyard. After acquiring 2 rare African bongo antelope, keepers spent almost a year carefully establishing the pair's compatibility. If hopes for a breeding success between these 2 beautiful animals are realized, Columbus will have added more members to the ranks of another endangered species. A goal of any captive breeding program is release of animals back into their native habitats. The zoo's purchasing agent, Kathy Hunt, got a glimpse of the joy that goal can bring. She spent 3 weeks nursing these injured birds back to health until they were strong enough to be set free.
I think over here would be good for you guys.
Look, you can escape.
I think they're gone.
Unfortunately, returning an endangered species to its wilderness home is not so easy. The amount of wilderness left on Earth is shrinking rapidly. For many threatened animals, zoos offer a last stronghold for survival. That's the real message behind all of the pleasures awaiting visitors at the Columbus Zoo.
I think most people that leave the Columbus Zoo take away an appreciation of not only wildlife, but an appreciation about the earth that we live on. You come here, you're looking at animals, obviously, that came to this earth long before we did. So people may have had a good time, but when they leave here, they're going to say, boy, you know, I'm sure glad that the Columbus Zoo, as well as other zoos, helped preserve that beautiful tiger or that beautiful bongo antelope. And I think that's what's important about zoos.
At Columbus, animals become ambassadors for their cousins in the wild. The closer the contact between these ambassadors and their human visitors, the stronger the bond between people and the planet they share with an amazing array of fellow species.
Somebody get my toes!
To join the Columbus Zoo, please contact the membership department. To help in the zoo's efforts on behalf of the black rhino, contact Save the Rhino. To learn more about wildlife and habitat conservation, please contact the American Association of Zoological Parks and Aquariums, the World Wildlife Fund, or the Nature Conservancy.